Good morning from Los Angeles. Welcome to Trading with Sergio, Wednesday edition. Welcome. As the title of the live stream indicates, markets are nervous. I want to talk a little bit about, before I go into my positions, obviously Trading with Sergio Power Hour is interactive, so I'll post a link if anybody wants to come up once I'm done talking about the positions. So important things are happening, right? Number one, tariffs, the musical chairs continue. So this is Wall Street logic for you all. When Liberation Day happened, April 2nd, tariffs were announced. Wall Street thought it was a horrible thing for the markets. And what did it do? Crashed it, no doubt. It definitely was a crash. So let's not sugarcoat that. Then, over the weekend, some federal court deemed that the tariffs were illegal and put a hold on everything. Then Wall Street yesterday thought, oh, wait a minute, tariffs were bad. We were kind of getting along. Now, no tariffs are bad. That's Wall Street logic for you all. Figure that out. I can't figure it out. But that's the overnight risk this year is presenting. A lot of overnight risk, a lot of news. And of course, the White House is pounding the table saying that, oh my God, we have to pay trillions of dollars back potentially. What are they talking about? The tariffs collected so far, even if they do it for the whole year, is not going to amount to more than a couple $100 billion. Okay, it's fine. Supposedly that was going to go to lower the deficit and the national debt. That's fine. What are we talking about here? The national debt's interest servicing cost only is 1.2 plus trillion dollars a year. What is 200, 300 billion going to do? Yes, some will say, well, it's better than nothing. I get it. But in the face of Wall Street's logic, initially crashing the markets because tariffs were bad, and yesterday it was a pretty decent sell-off, although we did come back, and today we're bouncing probably because of a couple of the stocks in there, right? Apple and Google. Now, no tariffs are bad. I'm not getting it. I don't get Wall Street logic. I mean, I get it, but it doesn't make sense. That's why I titled today's live stream, Markets Are Nervous. They are nervous. I mean, volatility picked up. VIX went up to 19 from 14 levels. We talked about that last week. And you got to watch VIX, right? Every time we get down to 14, when volatility gets compressed so much, it's like a rubber band effect. We're going to, get this type of volatility overnight. Now, that's one. Number two, what I'm watching more closely than anything else, well, middle of September is coming up. Fed is going to cut their rates. It's almost a guarantee by a quarter of a basis point, probably. Okay. What are the bond markets doing? What are the U.S. Treasury markets doing? Especially on the long end, or more than the long end, let's go from 10, 20, 30 year. What are they doing? Yesterday, they spiked. Interest rates spiked. Today, they're coming back down a little bit. But I think that's the canary in the coal mine that nobody's talking about or watching closely. I see some tweets on Twitter, which I agree with. What is happening to the long end of the curve globally? Skyrocketing. UK, Germany, Japan, skyrocketing. In UK, we're over 570. In Germany, new all-time, new 52-week highs in yields on the 30-year, the JGB rates going through the roof. I'm kind of thinking something is going to break somewhere, because as the bond market goes, so goes the stock market. So to me, I'm watching that real close. I'm watching gold. I talked about that on my channel multiple times. On its way to 4,000, it looks like. It looks like the worldwide, all the central banks actually are reducing their dollar-denominated assets, because they figured out a while ago, like I've been saying, that the dollar is trash, and it's losing value. So as a holder of value, what are those asset classes? Gold obviously is one. Crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I'm going to talk about those shortly. Money is flowing there. And but I'm really closely watching what's happening to the long end of the curve around the globe. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is the globe is just full of debt. And we're talking trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars. Treasury debt, US, UK, German, Japanese. In Japan, debt to GDP, we're at over 200%. In the US, we're about 130%. Then throw in this tariff musical chairs thing that happened with the courts. That probably is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. But it just creates uncertainty. And one thing I can assure you guys is Wall Street does not like uncertainty. So the picture is muddy. Markets are nervous. Like, for example, today, markets kind of tried to rally. It's rallying, but I look at my watch list. A lot of the Mag 7s, with the exception of Google and Apple, because I had news regarding Google keeping the search engine, but sharing data. We'll see how that goes. So Google was the winner, obviously, out of that. I see the big names. Palantir was down in the morning. It reversed. Robinhood was down. HIMS is rallying. So a lot of the stocks people follow. But then, NVIDIA is not up that much, with NASDAQ being up almost a couple 100 points. And so it's a mixed picture that I'm seeing out there. And, you got to trade what you're given, obviously. But, I'm tiptoeing into a couple of trades. I posted it. I will post the trades on the community page of the YouTube channel. My members get it every day, obviously, after the close. Let's go quickly through the schedule. So every Monday, this Monday, we had a holiday, didn't do Trading with Sergio Monday edition. Wednesdays are Trading with Sergio Wednesday edition, obviously. And then Fridays is Power Hour, all at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesday, which is today, hello, my members. We're going to have a members only live at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. If you want to support the channel, become a member, click join, send me an email to sergio@sergioavedian.com. I will send you the Telegram chat group link that I created. And outside the live streams for members only, you get my trades live. Again, none of this is trading, financial, or investment advice. What I do is very risky. You have to do your own due diligence. I'm doing fine. Account is up for the year, reasonable amount. My goal is to beat the benchmark, probably 5-6x, hopefully. If it happens, great. But so yeah, that's where we are. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening to crypto. I put out a really popular video. Actually, I didn't think it was going to be that popular, but it's just getting a lot of views for the size of my channel, obviously, on BMNR and SBET. As we know, they both are Ethereum treasury companies. Basically, what they do is they buy Ethereum for their treasury as an asset. So I've been talking almost a year now since I started the channel about something called MNAV, multiple to net asset value. What is the net asset value of, well, the trend was started by Michael Saylor of Strategy. He started this a while ago by buying Bitcoin. So how does he do it? How does he get the cash to buy Bitcoin? He's doing some leverage as well. He's doing some convertibles, convertible preferreds, all kind of things, right? And so basically, most of it is done by ATMs at the market stock sales. Basically, they sell shares. Immediately, they go buy Bitcoin with it. That's Strategy. About a month and a half ago, Bitmine Immersion Technologies, that's the company called, they converted the company into an Ethereum treasury asset company, and famous Tom Lee became the chairman of the company. Obviously, that adds a lot of clout to that outfit, but their Ethereum purchases have been nothing but astounding. I think as of yesterday, they own 1.87 million tokens. Their goal is to reach 5% of outstanding Ethereum tokens. The other one is SBET. That's the symbol, SBET. Honestly, I don't even know probably the name of the company. Let me see what it is. I'm bad with names. I'm good with symbols. Let's see. I think SBET is something. They used to be a betting company like DraftKings. They converted that company, SharpLink Gaming. They converted that company into an Ethereum treasury asset company, and they have bought up to, I think, 870,000 Ethereum tokens as of yesterday. So I've been following MNAV and trading MSTR, MSTU. I hadn't dabbled into BMNR and SBET. Traded MSTU, which is the 2x ETF of MSTR, through options, selling puts, selling calls, things like that, for a while. But I'm also watching MNAV extremely close. Okay, why do we need to watch MNAV? So in the case of MSTR, there's always, well, there has been always a premium. So there's a range for this MNAV premium on MSTR, which is when the stock was over 500, that MNAV ran up to close to 3x of the net asset value. Net asset, by the way, on MSTR, there's a company that sells software, enterprise software, but it's worth nothing pretty much. Basically, what these companies do is they buy Ethereum or Bitcoin, and that's the net assets that they have. In the case of BMNR and SBET, the MNAV was about 1.7 range. Well, something strange is going on. What is Wall Street? And then on the MSTR's case, MNAV has been coming down sharply. And what does Wall Street do? Wall Street buys Bitcoin, shorts MSTR. Okay. In fact, Jim Chanos did a really good trade on that when MNAV was about 1.8 to 2 range on MSTR. He was shorting MSTR. He was betting that the MNAV is going to shrink and come to par, meaning 1-to-1. Well, that turned into a really, really, really good trade for him. So I'm a patient trader, right? If you guys have been following me for a while, patience is the first P that I follow. The second P is position size specifically. Third P is the plan. So when it comes to planning, you create a thesis, you structure the best possible trade around that thesis, and then you do it. You commit to it. There is no other way of doing it that I know of. I don't get in and out 50 times a day. I'm not a day trader. If you're a day trader, this is the wrong place for you. But long story short, I've been watching MNAV and keeping track of it on a daily basis on all three. There are others, such as MetaPlanet in Japan, but MNAV on that is over 2. I'm not going to touch that. Well, what I started doing actually last Friday, and then you guys will see the positions, I'll keep adding to it, is MNAV. A lot of people believe that all these treasury asset companies should sell at a premium as far as their equity prices are concerned, meaning it's pretty easy to figure out MNAV. You have outstanding shares, right? You take that and multiply it by the share price, current share price, you get a market capitalization number. And then you look at their Ethereum holdings, in the case of BMNR and SPET. Well, as of yesterday, actually, BMNR went under 1 MNAV. Well, yesterday was 0.92. Today, I think we're above 1. So I jumped on it. I mean, because I was waiting for par. I was waiting for 1 for 1. Could it go less than 1 for 1? Absolutely, it did. On BMNR and SBET, they were like, both were, I think one was 0.92, one was 0.94. Well, so that's when I initiated the trade. So today I'm adding heavily, actually I'm trying to create a full position for myself, for my account size, on SBET. And I think last time I looked, ETH was, let's take a look. ETH is almost 4,500, right? So whatever ETH these companies are holding is up 4%, while these stocks at 1-to-1 should keep pace with that 4%. While BMNR is doing it. BMNR is up about 7.5% today. And when I show the positions, I'll explain to you guys. In fact, the video that I put up yesterday, if you're interested in it, you can go check it out. It's on the channel. SBET is actually down for the day. So I have good information. I still have friends on the trading desks. They said BMNR was doing it yesterday. SBET is doing it today. What was BMNR doing yesterday? They're doing at the market sales, stock sales, to buy more Ethereum. So Tom Lee seems like he's hell-bent on getting to 5% as fast as possible. And if you look at the trajectory of their purchases, it like outpaces Michael Saylor's strategy by like 10x. And SBET is doing the same thing. They're buying Ethereum literally every week. So today, it definitely looks like they're doing some ATM sales. Well, what happened because of that is that MNAV on SBET now, from this morning's calculations, is close to like 0.88. So basically, if you do buy SBET or the equity itself, or do some strategies that I'm doing with options, with defined risk on the downside, you're buying Ethereum at a discount, right? Okay. So 0.88 means 1-to-1 should be net asset value equals market capitalization. Well, in SBET case, we're down to 0.88. Now, I read some chat groups and chat rooms. Some of these comments are just ludicrous and ridiculous and funny to the point. They're all cussing out the management. Oh, these are losers. I'm like, these people are super qualified people on the board of SBET. But, those are traders, and they have no clue what they're buying and selling to start with, probably. I don't know how many of them would know what MNAV is if it hit them in the head, but it's okay. So instead of adding to BMNR, I'm adding to my SBET position. And I almost doubled up, actually. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have some other positions that I'll go through it. But you only do this strategy. You only like these treasury asset companies if you are bullish on Ethereum or Bitcoin. If Ethereum goes sideways for the next 6 months, which is highly unlikely, let's say it does, that stock is just not going to move. It's going to just be sideways. Although they have weekly options, obviously regular series as well. So you can take advantage of the premium and sell some calls and lower your cost basis if you're stuck. A lot of the chat groups, they're like, oh, I bought it at 30. It's 18 or 17 or 16. I'm like, who told you to buy it at 30? Who told you to go pay 2.1 MNAV? I'm paying 0.88 and I'm nervous. What is your business buying that thing at 2 mNAV? I don't know. If somebody can explain it to me, I would really appreciate that. Why these treasury asset companies should sell at a premium, almost 2 times their net asset value. A lot of people are counting on it, that's what's going to happen. Why should they? If this was a regular company with a regular business, you would look at it differently. That's the way I'm looking at these treasury asset companies. You have assets. Your liabilities are whatever your debt is. Unfortunately, at the moment, BMNR or SBAT is not using debt instruments to buy Ethereum. They're not using futures. They're not using leverage. So a liquidation is out of question at the moment. And then people go like, well, what if Ethereum goes to 3,000? What if it goes back to 2,500? I go, okay. SBAT will be $5. MicroStrategy will be, if Bitcoin goes to 60,000, MSTR will be like, I don't know, $150. It's 300 plus now. BMNR will be $10. That's what it's going to be. You only do these if you're super bullish on Ethereum or Bitcoin. Simple. The game is simple here. That's why I take advantage of options and do defined risk trades, because I don't know if Ethereum, I would like it to go up because it's a bullish position that I'm putting on, right? And, or a trade I'm putting on. So, but if it doesn't, there is always that, right? There's no guarantees in here. But I'm quite comfortable doing it at 0.88 mNAV on SBET than doing it at 1.5. Now, could mNAV expand without Ethereum moving? Because there's many different things that these companies are doing, especially in SBAT's case. They're staking it, right? They're getting about a 3.5% return. Once you stake it, then with that, they're coming and buying mNAV. They have enough cash at hand to purchase more or do stock buybacks. Same thing with BMNR. And I think that's why Tom Lee wants to get to 5% of outstanding tokens to start staking it. Tom Lee's talking all about this is the new Wall Street. It's 1971. When we went off the gold standard. I mean, I don't know. He's an intelligent man. I'm not going to question it. I have my thoughts about it. The tokenization of Wall Street, basically. And he's comparing it to 1971 when we went off the gold standard. Synthetic dollars were created. It's true. Look at how many dollars we can create out of thin air these days. And he's looking at the same thing, and he's thinking that Wall Street is going to be at some point, and all these tokens are going to be on the Ethereum network. I don't know. I could be. And therefore, the price of Ethereum is going to outpace Bitcoin even. And he's looking at some ridiculous targets like 15,000 or something for Ethereum. I'm like, look, I don't know. We're at 4,500. But the way I trade is I analyze it. I create the thesis. My thesis is I want to buy all these asset companies with defined risk trade, defined risk downside to the downside, at under mNAV, under par. They got there. Okay. So that was the plan. Once they get there, do it. Well, I'm doing it. In fact, I'm adding to it. So that's the plan. These are, again, trades. I'm not married to these trades. I know my risk. I know what my upside is. I know what my downside is. The trades I'm putting on are defined risk to the downside with max loss already clued in. So if SBAC goes to 0, I know what my loss is going to be. If BMNR goes to 0, I know what my loss is going to be already. So I know what my max loss is going to be, but I also know what my upside is going to be. The way I structure these two to start with is about 4-1, maybe a little bit better than 4-1, because I'm putting the trades on with credit. So basically I'm getting paid to play. But that's what's going on. We'll go to the positions. And good morning, everyone. What is going on? So yeah, let's go look at the positions. Oh, here's the link. If anybody wants to come up, grab it and show your pretty face. We can talk about anything you want. We can talk about trade or tariff musical chairs. We can talk about global debt crisis that I'm seeing happening. So we'll see. That's the link. But let me go to the positions real quick. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Let's go. You guys can see that. So that's the S&P 500. Let's go to the big charts. Actually, let's go to the positions first. All right. So BMNR is the first one up. I post these with full transparency every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the community page of the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please share. Please put a thumbs up on your way out. It's free. And so that's it. Let's go. So Bitmine, what did I do? I am selling a put credit spread. And with that amount, I'm financing the purchase of a call debit spread. Now, this could be called a synthetic. It could be a box spread. I honestly don't know what the technical term is for what this position entails. But so I went out to October 17th, regular expirations. I sold the 45 puts, bought the 40 puts. So that's a put credit spread, because the closer to the money ones are obviously higher priced. I'm right at the money, in fact, as well as, BMNR is 45. I think it got up to 46 today. So the point I'm trying to make is that's the defined risk that I'm talking about. I know my max loss on this position is going to be 5 points. BMNR can go to 0, literally, right? My short puts will be 45. My long puts will be 40 because I'm long the 40 puts. So with that money, I went and financed the purchase of a call debit spread to create a kicker to the upside. Because I do believe Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to rally. Even if Ethereum rallies to 5,000, 5,500, this position will be a massive winner because of the upside kicker with the call debit spread. So what did I do? I went out October again. Now I can do this symmetrically, or meaning equal amounts, or I don't want to put too much money out of pocket. So these I did about even meaning no debit or credit. But so I went and bought the October 50 calls and sold the October 70 calls against it. Initially, I think I did it maybe with 5, 10, 20 cent debit. And then yesterday when BMNR was doing ATMs and stock was going down, I did it with credit. So I'm pretty much about even, I would say. So that's the first position. CoreWeave 2x ETF calls, 40 calls. They're about to hit the wall. Not concerned. I'm long 200 NEO October 5 puts. Stock is down about 30, 40 cents today. Earnings came out. I think it's just it doubled already, like from 3 to almost 7. And I'm just playing for a pullback, really, nothing more than that. I'm long 4,000 shares of a stock called Pioneer Power Solutions, 371 costs, about 380. And this is the position that I keep adding to. In fact, I have more orders to add. I don't think I'm going to get that at 75 cent credit. So SBAT, same position as BMNR, same structure. Shorter put credit spread 17.5 to 15. So defined risk again, right? So SBET could go to 0. Okay. Well, put credit spread, what's my risk? Defined risk, 2.5 points, right? So I'm up to 45. I'm short 45 of the October 17.5 puts. Stock is about 17. I'm short. I'm long the 15 puts. So that's the put credit spread of the, let's say, what do we call that? Let's call it the synthetic. Then I am long 45 of the October 20 calls, and short 45 of the October 30 calls. So let's do the numbers. So my max loss on SBET is 2.5. My gain is 10 points. So it's about 4 to 1. Now, if SBET ends up at 30, this position will be massively profitable. But let's assume SBET doesn't do any of that. SBET just ends up exactly where it's at in 44 days from now. Okay. Well, I can roll, obviously, start the game over, but on this one, I've been doing it with credits. So actually, I think I did some today at 45, 50-cent credit, meaning the put credit spread, buy the call debit spread, but still be left over with 50 cents. So instead of $2, $2.50 max loss, I'm looking at $2 max loss. So when you do it with credit, you're getting paid to play. And I have another 5 lot. I do 5s at a time. I'll scale in, scale out, because unlike other people, I don't know where the bottom is or the top. So this one is set up at 75-cent credit. So, 3 things can happen. SBET will be lower than what it is now. SBET will be higher than what it is now, or SBET stays unchanged. Those are the 3 possibilities. Okay, if SBET is at 20, the put credit spread will expire worthless. The call debit spread will expire worthless. Whatever credit I collected between the difference between the two is going to be my profit, minimal profit. Now, I'm doing this because I believe Ethereum is going to bounce over the next 45 days to probably maybe 5,000, 5,500. And I'm doing it because at this price, at 16.99.17, MNAV on SBET is 0.88 now, lower than yesterday. So at some point, this thing is going to take off if again, Ethereum takes off. If it doesn't, fine, no problem. Same thing on BMNR, right? And last but not least, I started buying TSSI Inc. I bought 1,000 shares so far. I will, let's see. Yeah, I'll buy about another 500 shares, about 1265 range. I'm buying that. I mean, that stock was about 35. When I look at the charts, you guys will see why I'm buying it. I'm just buying it for an oversold bounce. A lot of people say, Serge, it's catching a falling knife. Yeah, it could be, but I do like these bounce plays. And I'm patient with them. There's optionable. I can always sell calls and do whatever, but I'm not planning on doing that. So enter 500 shares there. Yeah, that's where we are. That's where the positions are at. So if Ethereum does rally, BMNR and SBET will take off, because net asset value means something, right? The underlying treasury assets are going higher because Ethereum is going higher. So let's look at some charts. Let's put the big charts up. Okay, put your questions up. I actually was short TSSI initially. My members remember we shorted that thing about 30. We're down to about 12 and change, so I started buying it here today. I will buy some more. There's a gap fill and down to the 10 level. I don't want to see it there, obviously, but then there's a potential of that. Nothing big, couple 3,000 shares really. It's not going to make me or break me, but I'm playing for a bounce back to the 200 EMA, or because usually the opposite of what was happening on the way up is most likely is going to happen now. The stock got extremely overbought. It was a $7 number. It got up to 31 in a short period of time, in a month and a half. Shorted it, made some money. This should have been shorted. Messed up on that for sure. On the way up, it got so far away from 200 EMA, 50 EMA, 20 EMA that, mean reversion kind of a trade. Mean reversion on this 20 EMA is at 1672. And they also did a pretty decent secondary, actually, at 17. So I'm buying 4 points plus at a discount from the secondary. So whichever institution bought it at 17 is not looking good. So I'm looking at these things and I'm going like, okay, it should be a bounce. We should bounce to about 15, 16. I'm paying about 12 change, so I'm okay with that. BMNR. Well, let's go through the positions real quick. BMNR. Green today, 45.02, was as high as 40.46. This is the pure Ethereum proxy, folks. There's no ifs and buts about it. SBET and Ethereum I mean, BMNR are pure, and people are saying, well, why are you not buying Ethereum itself? I go, okay, I could do that, of course, but I'm buying Ethereum at a discount by buying BMNR yesterday at 0.92 MNAV and SBAT today at 0.88. Why wouldn't I buy it at a discount, right? Because they're buying it while I'm buying their shares. Compared to the MNAV, I'm buying Ethereum at a literally 12% discount. So I'm like, I don't see the harm in doing what I'm doing. But again, opinions are opinions. None of this is trading, financial, or investment advice. Do your own due diligence. So that's that. That's bad. There we are. And just, going sideways. Where is it at? 1696. Okay. Well, at 1696, I'm putting the trades on here. I didn't do it at 40. I didn't do it at 30. I didn't do it at 25. I didn't do it at 20. That's why patience pays. You got to be patient. A lot of people paid 124 for this thing. I'm going like, what kind of fool would be doing that? But you know how people are. These algos and high frequency traders. They get in, they get out, whatever. I like SPN actually more than BMNR because of the MNAV at the moment. So, I will keep adding to that position. A full position on that probably. Oh, the other reason I'm doing these trades, people go like, why don't you just go buy ETH? I go like, yeah, I could do it. Go to Coinbase and buy ETH and put it in my cold wallet. But this is so much more equity efficient. So much more equity efficient for me. I have a decent sized account, but even for that, even for a Robinhood account, this is equity efficient. So basically, to do 5 lots of what I'm doing at the moment with a credit, it's going to cost you about $1,100 if you are level 3 approved, obviously. If you're not level 3 approved, Robinhood is not going to let you do it. I tried to do it. I have a small Robinhood account, but I tried to do it. I trade on TOS, Thinkorswim. So much better trading, so much easier or tasty compared to Robinhood. Robinhood with these 3-4-legged trades, I want to do them simultaneously. I don't want to leg in and they won't even look at it. And I'm going like, because they're selling your orders to make money. And I'm going like, that's why it's not getting executed. But long story short, so equity efficient. So 5 lots on SBAT at these current levels, it's costing about $1,100 in buying power. Anybody can do that, I guess, right? Well, you just need Ethereum to go up because SBAT at some point will catch up in the next 45 days. We're hoping. But again, it could tank, but then my losses are limited due to the put credit spread that I have on. TSSI we looked at, BMNR we looked at, NEO, it's bouncing a little bit. It got down to, it's maybe building another bull flag. I don't know. It looks pretty good, right? It went from 3 range, 302. This last run came from about 340 to 680, literally a double. Beautiful chart. Not opposed to it. Supposedly they're going to be profitable in the fourth quarter, that the management's saying. A little bit of selling after the earnings came out. It's too far away from 200 EMA, 50 and whatever. So I pull back to maybe 560, 570 will be warranted, and then I'll sell my puts. I'm watching a few other stocks, obviously, outside the stuff. HIMS is one my members group is involved in. 45.50, big move up today. 45.60 actually. We traded 2x ETF of it. HIMZ, 15.5. Synthetic on this would be nice actually. On the next pullback, HIMS came down to the 200 EMA, tagged it once, rolled over, looked like it was going to break, tagged it again. That's a wild stock, folks. But we do trade the 2x ETFs of those. I'm watching AMD. It's at the 50 EMA. MACD is coming to 0. AMDL is the one I'm going to trade, which is the 2x ETF of AMD. And Tesla out of the blue today, absolute ripper. That's the daily chart, still consolidating in a range. Every time it gets to 350, gets sold to 310, 320. But this is the 2-minute chart. It ripped. It opened higher, came down to negative actually, and then it ripped. Something must have happened, or options ruled this thing. We'll trade TSLL on that one, which is the 2x ETF. Nvidia, since the earnings, not much is going on, honestly. So 2 minute, let's look at the daily. Actually, it's kind of rolling over right on the 50-day. Trend 2x ETF, and that is NVDL. Palantir was down, coupled this morning, and then kind of reversed. Oh, it's back down again. Yeah, it's back down again. That's either basing or putting a top in, obviously. Hood down. This is what I'm saying, right? Market's up, Nasdaq is up, but all these stocks are red. Obviously, Google is having a big day, up 8.5 points, 8.7, and new 52-week high on Google. I am long Google. I got lucky. I'm long Google about 145 range, 143, 145. FYI, full transparency, I have a trading account and investment account. I'm long 3 stocks at the moment, and there, actually 4. Nike is 1. Again, I got lucky, super lucky during the crash. I bought that one proper. Kava is the next one. Unity Software is the next one. And these are almost, Unity Software, I'm long about 21.5, 22. Kava, I'm long about 68, actually. I'm down a few percentage points there. Nike, I'm long about 54. And Google, I'm long about 145. So actually, that account is doing probably better than my trading account this so far. And let's look at a couple of the indexes. This is SPY, the spiders. Not much is going on. We had a pullback. There's a channel that we're in now. I don't like drawing too many lines, but that channel is proper. So we'll see. We haven't even pulled back to the 50 MA yet. And then yesterday, everybody's panicking. They're like, oh my God, we're crashing. I'm like, what is happening? And triple Qs. I think I talked about this. I put a video about that. I think there is rotation going on. I'm actually looking to put on some IWM trades. If we're going to cut the rates, lower rates are really good for small cap stocks, smaller companies. And as we know, spiders and the triple Qs have been outperforming IWM or the Russell 2000 for the last 5-6 years now. That's because S&P 500, top 10 stocks are about 40% of the S&P 500. We know what they are. And I think IWM is definitely going to outperform going forward if we're going an interest rate cutting cycle. Gold just absolutely rocketing now after going sideways for about 4 months since April. What a beautiful, beautiful chart. We did trade NUGT, got out too prematurely. It actually did exactly. We were long. We're short the 75 puts, long the 80 calls. God forbid that would have been the biggest trade of the year. Of course, as a trader, you don't want to risk a reversal. You take your profits. Super duper premature on that one. And last but not least, this is the TLT. This is the inverse. Oh, today we're up pretty strong. We're up. So if TLT is going down, that means interest rates are going up. This is the 20-year Treasury ETF, but inverse indicator like VIX is. So if TLT, today TLT is up 1%, which is a big move. Yesterday it gapped down. But still, to put it into context, when we had ZIRP, zero interest rate policy, this is 3 years on TLT, and I'm going to show you guys where the pandemic was. TLT was 179, 180 almost during the pandemic, right? Because we had to cut the rates to 0, and then we kept it there for a few years until inflation showed up. And when inflation showed up, what happened? We started raising rates. So when you're raising rates, TLT goes down. Well, TLT is actually down to 86. And really long-term perspective, going back to 2003, so TLT's rates are back to, on the long end, on the 20-year end, is where they were in 2003, actually. So you guys see TLT is about 86. Go back to 2002, 2003, they're about 86. So a lot of people are saying, but because of the debt, this actually rates are going to go higher. Well, Fed is cutting the rates on the short end. Fed cannot control the long end of the curve, just like nobody else can. It has its own mind. And so that's where we are on TLT. I mean, at some point, the long end is going to start going down as well. That will only happen if we get in a recession or a slowdown. And the odds of recession are not high, but we will see. So, yeah, those are the things. If anybody wants to come on or have questions, post it. I'll answer it in a minute. A couple other stocks I'm looking at to trade actually is Lemonade is one. Pulling back to 50 MA, I can't wait. I can be patience. We're waiting. ASTS is another one. AST Space Mobile. That's just consolidating. The labels you see is previous trades. Rocket Lab is one of my members' favorite stocks. Oh, big reversal day down today. Wow. Oh, we bought TSSI. Okay, there's Whoosh coming in on TSSI. Let's go see what's going on there. Actually, bit minus BMNR is selling off too now. Where is Ethereum? See, they do these stock sales, ATM sales. You know, they get hammered because they want to buy. Actually, market is selling off too. Nasdaq, so S&P only up to 3. Let's see where Ethereum is at. Ethereum is at. Bitcoin is 112.4. Ethereum is almost 4,500. So the discounts are getting better and better on these. We'll see. Either Ethereum is going to sell off or these things have to go back up. That's it. No ifs, no buts about it. So we bought 500 more TSSI. Let's buy another 500 at about 12.20. What do we pay? 12.65. Okay, let's go buy 12.15. Every 50 cents, I will buy 500 shares. Okay, so yeah, everything looks good. Yep. Okay. Let's go to the front. Let's see if anybody wants to come on. Probably not. You guys are very shy. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Yep, Sharpling Gaming. Nobody wants to come up. Any idea why HIMS is up so much today? No. I have no idea. That stock is just wild. Technical bounce, maybe, off the 200-day moving average. You know, stocks do that. I mean, not that I'm a huge, technical, I don't know, analysis believer, because it tells you the past. I have a simple answer for you, Doug. More buyers than sellers. How about that? When I say that, people go crazy. I'm like, it's true. More buyers than sellers. What else? Anything else, folks? So I will post the positions today on the community page before 2 o'clock Pacific. Check it out. Full transparency on this channel. Wins, losses, everything. I have nothing to hide, nothing to prove to anyone. Couldn't care less about what others think. I do my trading. I make my bed and I sleep in it. And what else? Yeah, that's where things are at. Nobody wants to come on. Come on, grab the link. It's right there. Well, so schedule again. Let's go through it before I go have a cup of coffee. Every Monday, Trading with Sergio Monday edition. Wednesdays, Trading with Sergio Wednesday edition. Power Hour every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. These are all at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I think I simulcast on YouTube and YouTube and X, I'm pretty sure. And if you're watching on X, please put a thumbs up on the YouTube side, or better yet, subscribe, or better yet, share. And today at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, members, we have a members live. I have you guys raised some questions last week about different topics. We will talk about those and do a little bit of one-on-one if you guys are up to it. And in order to do that, just click join. Send me an email, sergio@sergioavedian.com. I will send you the Telegram chat group link, made up of wonderful traders such as these folks here. And they're learning. Hopefully they're learning. And yeah, that's where we are. And as far as I don't know. What else? No questions? No? Okay. I'm going to say goodbye. You guys have a great week. And yeah, markets are nervous. I'm not nervous, but markets definitely are nervous. And, you know, one thing that's for sure now is that buying puts on indexes is tough, unless you're like so quick with zero DTEs and things like that to hedge yourselves, because hedging is not working. Like if you did hedge yourself with buying puts, your puts are hitting the wall today while your stocks are still going down. So be careful out there. Pay attention to what's happening. Global long end of the curve rates going through the roof. Fed cut coming up. You know, I'm sure I'll do multiple live streams before then. So that's about it. That's for today. Go check the community page on the YouTube channel. I will post my positions for the regular subscribers every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, none of this is trading, investment, or financial advice. What I do is risky. Do your own due diligence. More importantly, if you do tag along, looking at the positions, screenshots, sometimes I trade for a day, sometimes I hold things for a week, sometimes I hold them for a month. If it happens to be that I do it for a day, swing trade in a day, so when I post it on Monday, by the time I post it on Wednesday, if you duplicated that, I'm gone on Tuesday, but by the time I post it on Wednesday, you may be holding it. So again, take the risk as it is, do your own due diligence, and then figure things out. More importantly for me is not you duplicating the trades. Sometimes they're winners, sometimes they're losers. I have an overall picture in mind, but it's to learn. Like, why am I doing what am I doing? For example, with the structure that I'm putting together on SBET and BMNR, why am I doing this trade, right? Put yourself in my head, and maybe there's a better way. Then you guys can chime in and put it in the comments saying, oh, there's a better way of trading SBET and BMNR for the next 45 days. Could be. Tell me what it is. Always take a look at it. That's why I like my members group, right? We're always going back and forth with ideas. They're putting up their ideas. You know, I'm putting up my ideas, and it's an exchange of thoughts and ideas and trades. So with that said, I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. Much love. Be healthy. Market's going to do what it's going to do. Market doesn't care who you are. Market doesn't care what you know. Market doesn't care how much money you have. Trade what's in front of you. That would be my advice of the day. Don't get emotionally involved. Have an exit strategy. Manage your risk properly. Don't blow accounts. It ain't worth it. Coming back from a blown account is really, really difficult. Know what the risk is going in. Have an exit strategy on the profit side and the loss side. And then you'll sleep a lot better at night. So that would be my advice for today. See you guys on Friday for Power Hour. And see the members today at 4:30 p.m. Pacific for members live. Adios.